justice. I like it. How y'all doing tonight? So, my name is Dan Wright. I'm a poet about town. As John said, I've been curating the poets here for the past 18 months, actually. And I've kind of given the reins back over to John because I've introduced him to so many poets here. It's like I got too many irons in the fire elsewhere, including I'm actually starting an indie press. And we're going to be putting out a collection of St. Louis poets in April called Not Ready for River Styx. Because I figure, you know, the original cast of Saturday Night Live were called the Not Ready for Primetime Players. Me and the poets I run with were the Not Ready for River Styx poets. The poems I'll be reading tonight are from my third collection of poetry called Love Letters from the Underground. I unfortunately don't have any for sale, but there are copies available at Dunaway Books down on South Grand, right at South Grand and Arsenal, and you can check out the events I run there. The next one will actually be January 8th. We're going to have 3 poets coming in from the Northeast, a couple poets from New York, and a poet named Damien Rucci from New Jersey, who actually was just filmed for a documentary that PBS is doing about a sort of poetry scene that's going on there called Voices from the Underground, or Voices in the Garden, rather. And this is, the first poem I'll be doing tonight is called 6149. Trekking across the skull of the continent, round the devil's elbow, bound for New Orleans, with old blues highway roads on fire. Everything is out there if you tune to the right frequency, making sure to pass through the devil's crossroads, getting on 61 in Memphis and going south until we see where souls have been sold. I imagined that when we got there, we would see a young man with a guitar sitting at the corner on the edge of the road, and I'd ask him if he was waiting for the devil. I'd say, you still come around these parts? Sometimes the young man would say, in fact, you all better get out of here. The devil doesn't come around if there's crowds. In fact, he hates them. And I would respond, well, I can relate. When we got there, all we saw was a bunch of out-of-shape guys with their guitars taking pictures next to a giant sign with 3 blue guitars to let you know that this is the crossroads. My friend turned on 49, and we made the way down Mississippi Highway 1 until we hit the crossroads at Rosedale, where Mississippi 1 meets Highway 8, where some say the real crossroads are. All that was there was a small grocery store, a middle school, and a sign for a Piggly Wiggly off in the distance. And the faint notion that the devil, if ever he was there, hadn't been down this way in a long time. Thank you. So a lot of these poems were from my days kind of going from one end of the country to another. I am a traveling poet, try to get on the road at least a couple times a year. And this next poem is about the last time I was in New Orleans, and this is called Funky Butt. On hot summer nights, you can cut New Orleans air with a knife, swatting mosquitoes sometimes the size of small birds. But if you listen close, you can hear the ghost of the true king of this town. All hail King Bolden, whom some may call Buddy, in every loud trumpet that finds its groove, in every jazz band who makes $1 on a cobblestone street, in every bowl of hot jambalaya eaten to get something in your system. In the smell and the rumble of the end of the Mississippi, in every jazz note that doesn't know what to call itself, in every myth looking to make a name. Yeah. This next one is a short one, and it's called Special Edition. I used to be super critical of the Star Wars special editions, and any other editions George Lucas made to a trilogy that was, in my mind, perfect. Then one day, I sent a poem out for publication, and 5 seconds later, I saw how I could improve it. I'm not as critical anymore. And this one, I stole a Tom Waits line and used it as the title for it. Buckle down the rumble seat and let the radiator boil. Making the run to Louisville, Looking at the beautiful wilderness of Kentucky with Nashville in our sights, the sign for exit 43 barely holds itself together, and the speed limit has been blackened out, with the sides of the roads left for the remains of rubber, steel, and glass. Old Southern soul music spreads the gospel at 80 miles an hour, with autumn leaves hanging over the cars. Blue exit signs and fast food logos they show become faces in a crowd, along with every truck stop and gas station you pass by. A million golden arches, a million days ends, a million lives you'll never meet, going towards their own ways. You wonder what becomes of those who work at the truck stops of America. The horizon is a coyote prankster, always changing its form. Looking upon a cove in the sky right behind a lake, the frontier changes from the hills of abandoned mining towns to middle American farms, with the Smoky Mountains just over yonder and town centers that have been turned into strip malls. The radio dial searches for Parsons, Westerberg, Chilton, Clark, Prime, Zevon, maybe Towns, or Lucinda, or Willie, or Dolly, patron saint, cosmic American singer-songwriter poets. Faded billboards with pictures of Yogi Bear to promote the nearest state park, right next to signs for the nearest adult bookstore. Following the Ohio River until it meets the Mississippi, Metropolis looks more like Smallville. Small-town America reeks of pot, smoked by those who dream of getting out. This one is called Any Other Name. In the 1940s, I would have been called a red, or commie if they wanted to be confrontational, with the basis for that being nothing more than my being a writer, for wearing glasses, and daring to think outside a nondescript box. In the 60s, they would have called me a hippie, despite my being over 30, and the fact that I'm so OCD every time I try to grow a beard or have longer hair, it just gets annoying. Some would have called me unpatriotic, because I wouldn't have believed in a political pissing contest that gave so much of a generation PTSD. In the 80s, they would have called me a liberal, as though that's supposed to be an insult, for pointing out how deregulation was going to be the downfall of this country, and for pointing out that Reaganomics was and is a crock of shit. Nowadays, certain people in the community call me Antifa, as though that's supposed to be an insult. That I'm some left-wing nut who wants to burn the whole system down because I don't piss, bleed, or cum red, white, and blue every second of my life. And they base that claim on nothing more than my being a writer, for wearing glasses, and daring to think outside a nondescript box. So since it's so cold as fuck outside, I decided to, next poem is going to be about a very summertime activity, and it's called the lawn. A man will spend too many hours thinking about the lawn. He'll get up in the wee hours of a day off just to cut it, trim it, make sure it looks pristine, if only for a week. He will chastise any child old enough to cut it for not doing so, because an uncut lawn will get you cited by the city, and neighbors who one may never meet will judge from afar, all because a lawn looks like a mess. He will buy poisons to kill unwanted weeds and fertilizer to help grass grow. He'll enjoy the compliments from other men on the block about how nice the lawn may look as they stand around watching him fix a car, all saying they helped because they drank beer while watching him do it. Such activities are the building blocks for suburban friendships. When the day is done, a man will survey the front yard of his kingdom, though nobody ever calls it that except him. As he'll sit on a lawn chair on the porch, and when the sun sets, he'll notice any imperfections he missed. He'll take the clippers to them, hoping he got everything just right. And then he'll rest, sitting proudly in his lawn chair as though it were a throne. For the lawn is finally perfect, though only for a week. So I got two more. Are there any fans of the punk rock band The Minutemen? Right, well, today was the birthday of the lead singer of that band, Dee Boone, who unfortunately was a member of the 27 Club, and And he's actually buried in the same cemetery that Charles Bukowski is. They were a punk band from San Pedro and didn't sound anything like punk. They dared to play Steely Dan songs in punk venues in 1980 and had beer cans thrown at him as a result, but I think that's more punk as fuck than doing the same Sex Pistols song 20 times. And this is called History Lesson 3. Mike Watts still lives. His soulmate and best friend does not. Subverting a genre with no rules that can be so regimented, staring on their declaration along with drummer George of We Jam Econo. Another road accident to state troopers, another member of the 27 Club to the fans. A lifetime spent filling a hole where a heart used to be for Mike and George. Though they do not wish to let the death of their friend define them, in doing so, they honor their friend's memory. Though they found some success after the friend was gone, it was not the same magic. And many fans would travel miles to tell you that you can't beat that something extra of those three boys from San Pedro. This is going to be the last one I do before the band comes back on, and it's called Going Home on a Greyhound Bus. You see America in the bus depots, the downtrodden and temporarily impoverished millionaires who look down at those who accept the facts of life, flaunting a class they'll never be. Faded farmhouse windows in the sunset, wearing love like a long-lost crown, hearing music from across the aisle, a sleeping man's headphones blast a beat that's too scared to take a risk. Just loud enough to keep me from focusing on my own slumber. Texas train calls in the distance. The rains make the land look like northern England with fog covering the cell towers. Georgia Peach license plates pass by. A woman of almost 60 and her daughter get into an argument about how much the mother makes things up for the sake of a reaction. White arrows point a million directions, boarding and reboarding left to be a riddle in a hot box. Streetlights reflect the shadows of the fallen rain, tired from their journey, so they decided to hitch a ride for as long as they could hang on to the windows. The post-rush hour highways still stream red and white lights going in opposite directions. Sweet southern breezes in Texarkana. Anxieties comb over the realities of other lifetimes. Getting home by the skin of my teeth, trying to keep texts with friends from turning into free therapy on both sides. I'm sure Memphis will look beautiful if I could see it in the early morning dark. Noticing as Carl's Juniors turn into Hardys, but Rowley's hasn't yet turned into Checkers. Clouds lifted, the stars in the country are always the most beautiful. The road makes me feel like a Ferlinghetti poem, a poetic gorilla engaged in non-violent warfare to squeegee third eyes clean. Dawn's early light in the boot heel. Grass becomes golden for a moment, with the only sound being the snoring of the passengers and the engine of the bus, both going in and out of sync with each other. And then there she is, St. Louis. It may never be the greatest city in the world as far as the world is concerned. The people, the buildings, the history, though not without its faults, make it the greatest city to me. The Mississippi was right and I am here in love, willing to dance with cold autumn winds, a journey of love, a record of hope. As I go home, a spirit whispers, be sure to get back. I'll do my damnedest. Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys were an awesome crowd. And please keep that round of applause going as we welcome back onto the stage one of the best bands in the land, the Soulard Blues Band.
Sounded better than ever.
Thank you.
Lower. That's all I need.
I've been looking at that cheese all day. But it's just looks like cheese. Really? Just take the cheese.
As much as you can fit
Oh, no, I can't eat that.
the whole mouthful. You can have that That's all you need to practice.
I got a picture of you somewhere eating wasabi paste out of the tube. And you just put a pink stripe down on your tongue. I swear to God, you would
That is so freaking good. No, no, no. No, no, no.
I tried to give you